guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're doing the Love is Blind finale episode, season 2, episode 10, the weddings. So much to talk about on this one. Really want to know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I can't wait to read them. Really curious if we had the same opinions on a lot of these couples. So it goes without saying, but we will be spoiling the crap out of the show. So if you even think you want to know or you want to see it, go watch it. Otherwise, we are going to talk about exactly what happens with each couple. And I can't wait to get into each one of them because I have thoughts on everybody. So let's get into this. But first, check out my merch, link below. I got Midnight Toast, Justice for Steve. It's a load of pants. Or find me on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. So remember the last episode left off with Nick and Danielle. He is sweating more than any human being has ever sweat in their whole life. You can actually see the sweat through the gray suit. It's pretty gross. Why not do this inside? The other couples did, most of them. Why not do this inside? It's so sweaty. Okay. Do you take Danielle to be your wife? Blah, blah, blah. Silence. Dun, dun, dun. He ends up saying, I do. And he says, okay. The last episode, she had said I do, so it was up to him. Woo, cliffhanger. He does say I do. He says, I have no question. You are the person I'm supposed to be with. Okay, let's talk about this for a few hours. I got so many comments along the way saying that Danielle was the problem, which she clearly has issues. And a couple of you saw what I was talking about. Thank you for that. About him. I can only see that he is scary and angry, and he freaks me out. And I have had a couple of you in the comments agree with me. Thank you for that. But a lot of you think it's her. I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on this couple? Are they going to make it? My honest opinion, no. They're going to fight like cats and dogs, and it's not going to work out, and she's going to be all in her own head about things, and he's going to be all angry about things, and that's a very scary combination. It bothered me, unless they cut it out, that he never told her how good she looked. I just think she looked so stunning, and all he could talk about was himself and how much he's sweating. And I just find that odd. And maybe, indicative of his personality, that he's not saying, hey, look at you, you're stunning, that kind of thing. I wanted the reaction that Jared had with Ayanna, where he was like, whoa, We never got that. All right, let's get into this. I could talk to you about 14 hours about Deepthi and Shake. Shake seems nervous. He's with the guys. He's talking about how nervous he is. And again, he brings up this physical attraction thing. I say it every time. Of course you have to have physical attraction to your partner, but he's taken this to a level like I've never seen. He's the most shallow, horrible person, and not just because he wants to be attracted to her, but because he keeps putting her down along the way. And again, I ask, who are you? What kind of prize are you? You really want to compare here? I think she's stunning, and he's lucky to have her, but he doesn't end up with that. So much lead up to this, and I thought she looked so stunning in her wedding dress. Can I just say, her hair, her makeup, her outfit, she just looked gorgeous, and good for her. So they did a good job on this one. We had no idea trouble was brewing. She is talking about the lifelong commitment. He, of course, is going about the physical attraction versus the emotional attraction, and she seemed really happy. I had no idea this is where this was going. This is probably the most shocked I was of all the couples. She has seemed to love him all along and seemed to be there for him and talked about their lives together and how she couldn't wait to be his wife and things like that. And so in case you were one of the ones that didn't actually watch the show, you just wanted to hear what happened, let me tell you, they set this one up perfectly. We believe that these two are going to get married. He's a dick, and they just, there's no hiding that because he reveals it every 5 seconds, but you still think these two are going to work out because he's talking about how he's never been one that would he's never gone for an Indian woman before, but it makes his family happy. He's embracing his culture. He's happy to be with an Indian woman. He's embracing who he is. And during the wedding, they say, okay, go and get the bride. And when he sees her, his first words to her are, you look hot. You guys, I want to punch him in the face. Like, it could be cute. If it didn't turn out this way, I would think, oh, sweet. I wanted Nick to say something like to acknowledge how she looked to Danielle. He never did. So Shake did this here to Deepthi, but wow. So he says, I hope you know how much you mean to me, the impact you've made on my life. I'm sorry, Deep says this. I hope you know how much you mean to me, the impact you made on my life. But no, I can't marry you. I deserve someone who knows for sure, and I'm choosing myself, and I'm choosing to say no. And she walks away, and everybody is shocked, and it's fabulous. I'm so glad she did this. Now, what I wish for, and what I think it could have made it better, is if they had asked him first, and he had said, I do, and then she said this, because later he plays it off like he would have, like he says he would have said yes if she had said yes, but that he wasn't sure either. I don't think that's it. I think his pride was hurt, and so this is his way of dealing with it, and I wish that they had asked him first, that he had said yes, and then she could have been like, nope. So I love her for this, because the editing, whatever, seemed to play it off like she was oblivious to how he was not physically attracted to her. And it was more than that. He was always holding something back. He would never just like grab her and kiss her. He held back all his feelings and emotions. And I mean, things were weird, right? He just sucks. So I'm glad that she did this. Now, we're going to get to it, but you want to talk about douchebag of the year. After she leaves, he's like, everybody, let's celebrate. Let's run it. Everybody up. Here we go. We'll party till Monday. He says, I have a Nobu reservation on Sunday. I'm so excited. I mean, what a dick. I hope every woman in the whole world sees this and dumps him. Good for her, because she firmly slammed that door. And even in her interviews, she doesn't seem like, some of them act like that there's a chance for us to keep going. She does not act like that. So let's go over to another big shocker. We got Natalie and Shayne. So he's nervous and stressed, so is she. We find out that last night they got into a huge fight, and it was a bad one. So they allude to this, but we don't yet know the extent of the fight. He is talking like he still loves her. She's my best friend. And I felt so bad for Natalie, because when we go to her, she's crying so hard and saying, I don't know. So she doesn't exactly say what he says. He just says during the argument, stuff was said, and they cut to him who's saying stuff was said that I didn't mean. And so he's saying he doesn't want to talk about the fight. She's my best friend I see myself with. Ideally, we'll both say yes. We'll start our new life together. So interesting here, because all along I felt like she loved him more than he loved her. And again, same thing with Shake and Deepthi. I thought she loved him more than he loved her. But for this fight to get to this place, and again, they kind of do a surprise reveal in a bit, it had to be bad, because she is absolutely beside herself with emotion, and I don't know. So they get dressed. There's very dramatic music. I kept feeling like that they'd end up together. I really did. And as the season went on, of course, at first I was like, oh God, they'll never work out. And then as the season went on, they kind of grew on me some. I feel like she's a little too serious and he's a little too wild. So it's an interesting combination, but I really thought, I saw it. I saw the love between them, and I really thought that they would work out and say yes. So much going on. So they go out, and he's like giddy and excited. Now, the only time, besides her talking heads, the only time you could tell something was up was every time they'd pan to his mom, she looked pissed. And I couldn't figure out what was going on there. I have no idea. I just wondered, did the moms know? Because both moms looked upset. Her mom looked sad. His mom looked pissed. Maybe that part was filmed after the fact. Who knows? Okay, so he says his biggest fear is after this fight, she won't say yes, and that's all he wants is for her to say yes. Things are weird. Natalie ends up walking out with her dad, and everyone stands. He says, I love you. He says yes 1,000 times. No one else I'd rather do this with. Well, when it's her turn, she says, we've grown a lot, but I don't. She says, I'm so sorry. I still love you. You're my best friend. We have big issues to sort through. And he says, I know. And she ends up leaving. So he chases after her. And you guys, this is where the S hits the fan. Because we find out what happened during this fight. And wow. So when they're talking, he says, it's not your fault. I effed up. And they say that they can try to work on this. She says, I'm not closing the door. And he says he needs time to think. I'm sorry for what I said. And then he says, it's what I felt. And she reveals, she's like, oh, really? It's what you felt? What you said when you were mad? We find out here he said he hated her. And that she's the worst thing to happen to him. Holy crap. Like, those are strong words. Clear. I mean, obviously she didn't marry him, and now I understand why, and I say good for her. And then for him to go back, and maybe he was nervous. I'm not saying when he said that stuff's terrible, but I'm saying today when he says, I meant the things I said, he basically doubled down on that terrible stuff. He's saying he still loves her, and he's saying, what a effing day. And P.S., they go on to Mallory with Sal and Mal, and I just don't care about these two. They're boring as shit. It was all I could do to pay attention to their section, so I'm going to talk through it with Natalie and Shayne because they're way more interesting. But, I don't know, so I feel like with those two, they do allude to that it's not over, that they can maybe keep talking, but I gotta stand up for Natalie. I mean, he said the most awful things to her, and then he's shocked that the next day she doesn't want to marry him. She says she was 100% sure she was going to say yes, but then after he said all those things, she said no, and now she feels like a weight's lifted, and I'm saying, girl, there's your answer. Like, you did the right thing. She says she made the right decision for herself. When she walked down the aisle with her dad, she knew that her dad always put her first and that she can always fully trust him. And she just doesn't have that with Shayne. She feels on edge and scared, and she truly loves him, but that can only go so far. And again, I say, you know what? Good for you. I totally think she made the right decision, and screw Shayne. I mean, everybody fights and says, dumb stuff when you're arguing, but that's a whole new level, what he said. Those are terrible things you can't take back. And nah, good for Natalie. All right. Mallory and Salvador, I'm going to be honest with you. I was bored as shit watching this. I have like 3 sentences of notes. I really liked her out of the gate. I didn't really differentiate him. He was just like, whatever. But she got so boring, and so did he. And I just couldn't care less about these two. So I literally wrote in my notes, I started writing like how they, got together, the history, and then I just wrote, who cares? Because who cares? They get married. It's a pretty outdoor ceremony. So much. So who cares? Okay, so he just basically says he cannot marry her. He says he needs more time. She says it's okay. I will say she didn't seem completely shocked by it. I feel like she probably felt the same way. They had her dramatically walk away and then watch him from above. It was very strange. Through the bridal suite, I guess. And he just kind of solemnly paced the aisle and addressed her family and says that he can only... who cares? They just didn't work out. He's so boring. I really liked her at the beginning. I don't need more. She got boring too. I don't care. I think that they'll continue to see each other. I think both of them are more interested in other things. He's interested in his music career. I don't know what it is with her, but I don't think it's him that she's interested in. So maybe it's just being on the show. Who knows? But I thought she looked stunning. So there's that. Let's move on. So then we go to Ayanna and Jared. She loves his character and he's so excited. He's with his friends saying he can't wait to be married. We go back and forth. I still don't understand her situation with her adoptive parents. I understand adoption. I don't understand it when you're over the age of 20. But what's that new popular show, Adults Adopting Adults? Maybe it's something like that. Who knows? Okay. I love the relationship of Jared and his sister. She seems very sweet. And I'm glad that they're there for each other. And I mean, honestly, not too much drama here. Like, they try to make it seem like, ooh, is it going to work out? But spoiler alert, it does. They seem very happy together. I liked his reaction when he saw her coming down the aisle and reacting to how beautiful she looks. And they kind of tease with each other. And he says, Jesus, you took too long when you said I do. Like, he was acting like he was nervous. I wonder, she did seem to struggle with nerves beforehand. So I thought maybe there's a chance she bolts. But nah, they worked out, and I'm so glad because they seem very happy, and I'm very happy for them. So they both say I do, and I love, like he said, she accepts me, flaws and all, and I knew this was something real, and it's only going to get better, and they kiss, and they toast to the rest of their lives, and good for them. They're very sweet, and I hope they make it forever and ever. So from here, we circle back to Natalie. She does say that she still loves Shayne. We'll both recover from this moment. Maybe we'll go separate paths. For me, the door is still open. It just wasn't right today. He says he's very sad, but he still believes love is blind, and he still loves her. At the end of the day, if it's meant to be, it'll be. Then we go over to Sal, who says he loves Mallory very much, and not having the family support is difficult. I fell in love with Mallory in the pause. Blah, blah, who cares? I don't know. Maybe they'll keep dating. Maybe they won't. They did this longing look from the bridal suite. I thought it was kind of silly. But, all right, let's go to Deeps. She says, he says, this is the only rejection from a girl that I could be totally okay and happy with. I'm happy for her. And I'm just thinking, you're a dick. Like, you're just trying to save face. I hope he really feels this one. I do. He says he'll find his person. She says she'll find her person, and it's not Shake. So I love that she was so firm in that. She says she has no regrets. I guess love isn't always blind. Nick and Danielle's reception, she says love is blind, and they're happy. They have the rest of their lives to look forward to. I'm like, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Check back with me in 6 months. We'll see if they're still together. Ayanna and Jared. I just got married to the most beautiful woman in the world. She had me waiting at the altar for too damn long, and it was worth it. Then we find out March 4th is a new episode. I gotta assume that is the cast reunion, and I'll be talking about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been so fun to cover Love is Blind. If whatever that episode is, I'll be talking about it. And I hope you guys have a fabulous day. I can't wait to see what's coming out next that we can talk about. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.